Hello, my friends and cinemas all around the world. Welcome to Maastricht.
For decades, André Rieu was a global name, a man who made classical music feel alive, joyful, and grand. His concerts filled arenas, his waltzes inspired smiles, and his charisma turned traditional symphonies into unforgettable celebrations. Then all of a sudden, things went quiet. The man once called the King of the Waltz seemed to disappear from the world stage. No scandals, no breaking news, just silence. Fans began to wonder, what really happened to André Rieu? Did he retire, face health issues, or simply choose to step away from fame? The truth, as it turns out, is much more human and inspiring than most people realize. At the height of his career, André Rieu was everywhere. From Australia to America, he filled massive concert halls with thousands of fans swaying to his waltzes. His shows were unlike anything classical music had seen before. Lights, laughter, storytelling, and pure emotion. He wasn't just a violinist or conductor. He was an entertainer who turned centuries-old music into something vibrant and new. But after 2019, his global presence began to fade. The tours became fewer, television appearances slowed down, and his once busy calendar suddenly looked calm. For a man who used to perform over 100 shows a year, this change was hard to ignore. Fans wondered if it was health, age, or maybe the end of an era. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, a turning point for artists everywhere. In 2020, like countless performers, Rieu was forced to cancel dozens of shows. His beloved hometown concerts in Maastricht, which attracted tens of thousands every year, went completely dark. For someone who had spent decades sharing music with the world, the silence was painful. Yet, even after restrictions lifted, Rieu didn't rush back to his old routine. He returned quietly, performing mostly in Europe, choosing a slower rhythm. This shift sparked curiosity. Had he lost his passion? Or had he finally found peace in slowing down? André Rieu was born in 1949, meaning he's now in his 70s, an age when slowing down feels natural, even for someone as energetic as him. Conducting an orchestra is not easy work. It demands stamina, focus, and endless travel. For years, Rieu led from the front, violin in hand, smiling for hours under bright lights. But behind those smiles were years of exhaustion. His workload was immense, touring across continents, rehearsing daily, managing one of the largest private orchestras in the world, and running the business behind it all. Few people realized how much pressure came with his success. Back in 2010, Rieu faced a serious health challenge that changed his perspective forever. He was diagnosed with a viral vestibular infection, a condition that affects balance and coordination. For a violinist, that's devastating. The symptoms, dizziness, vertigo, nausea, made it impossible for him to perform. He was forced to cancel a large part of his world tour, shocking fans everywhere. Though he recovered and returned to the stage, the incident reminded him that even the strongest performers are human. Such moments can leave lasting effects, both physically and emotionally. Over time, Rieu began to recognize the cost of his demanding lifestyle. The pandemic simply gave him the chance to stop, breathe, and rethink his priorities. When the world stopped in 2020, André Rieu found himself facing something he hadn't experienced in years: stillness. No flights, no rehearsals, no crowds. For an artist who had lived on the road for decades, it was a strange and quiet chapter. But this pause became a gift. Away from the pressure of constant performance, Rieu could rest, reflect, and reconnect with life beyond the stage. In interviews, he's hinted at how heavy the responsibility was, not just as a musician, but as a leader of hundreds of people who depended on him. Running his orchestra meant acting as both an artist and a CEO. The emotional and financial pressures were enormous. During this period, many noticed that Rieu's public presence changed. He became more selective, performing fewer shows but focusing on quality and emotional connection. Instead of rushing to fill stadiums, he concentrated on creating meaningful experiences for both his audience and himself. His concerts became more personal, more heartfelt, and in many ways more beautiful. This wasn't a man fading away, it was an artist evolving. André Rieu wasn't stepping down from music. He was stepping toward a better balance between his passion and his peace of mind. To understand André Rieu's journey, it helps to go back to where it all began: a small city called Maastricht in the Netherlands. Born on October 1st, 1949, André Léon Marie Nicolas Rieu grew up surrounded by music. His father, André Rieu Sr., was a respected conductor of the Maastricht Symphony Orchestra. Music wasn't just a hobby in the Rieu household. It was a way of life. Young André often heard classical masterpieces playing in the background while most children were outside playing games. By the age of 5, he had already picked up the violin, showing an early spark of talent that would shape his entire future. But even from a young age, André was different. While his father preferred the serious, formal style of conducting, André dreamed of making music fun. He didn't just want to play notes. He wanted to make people feel something. As he grew older, he studied at the Conservatorium Maastricht and later at the Royal Conservatory of Brussels, where he trained under the famous violinist André Gertler. Though his technical skills were sharp, what set him apart was his energy and showmanship. He often joked that while his teachers wanted him to stand still and play properly, he just wanted to dance with the music. That playful spirit would later become the signature of his career. In the 1980s, classical music was still viewed as something reserved for the elite. Serious, quiet, and often intimidating. André Rieu saw this and thought, why can't classical music be fun? He believed music was meant to be enjoyed, not just respected. In 1987, he brought his dream to life by creating the Johann Strauss Orchestra, named after his musical hero Johann Strauss II, the Waltz King. It began with just 12 musicians but carried a grand mission: to bring back the joy and elegance of waltz music for everyone. Rieu's concerts broke every classical rule. Instead of stiff performances in tuxedos, his shows looked like royal celebrations. The stage resembled a Viennese palace, complete with chandeliers, colorful gowns, laughter, and dancing. His musicians smiled, interacted with the audience, and created an atmosphere filled with warmth. People who had never attended a classical concert found themselves clapping, laughing, and even dancing in the aisles. Critics called it too commercial, but fans loved it. Rieu wasn't trying to impress the elite. He wanted to connect with ordinary people. And it worked. His concerts sold out massive arenas. His albums topped international charts, and he became one of the most recognizable figures in classical music history. As his popularity grew, André Rieu's concerts became global events. From Europe to Australia, South America, and beyond, he brought his waltzing magic to millions. His hometown concerts in Maastricht became legendary. A breathtaking mix of music, lights, and emotion, performed in the city's main square under the summer stars. Fans from around the world would travel to see him, turning the small Dutch city into a festival of joy. These shows were also broadcast in cinemas worldwide, allowing fans in London, Sydney, and New York to join the celebration. Rieu's global success wasn't just about music. It was about emotion. He had a special gift for connecting with audiences on a personal level. His performances weren't distant or formal. They were warm, humorous, and heartfelt. He told stories between songs, cracked jokes, and often dedicated pieces to love, friendship, and family. This sincerity made people feel close to him. He didn't just play music. He made people remember how to feel it. In an age of fast, digital entertainment, Rieu reminded the world that music could still bring people together, across ages, languages, and borders. Behind the stage lights and smiles, André Rieu is also a skilled businessman. He turned his love for music into a global brand. His concerts, DVDs, albums, and streaming content have sold millions worldwide. At one point, he was the best-selling classical DVD artist in history. His tours often ranked among the top-grossing acts globally, sometimes even beating rock legends like Coldplay and AC/DC. Estimates suggest Rieu's net worth is between $40 and $50 million, a rare achievement for a classical musician. But his success wasn't just luck. It was strategy. By keeping creative and financial control of his productions, Rieu built an independent empire. He employed over 100 people, from musicians to costume designers, ensuring that every show maintained the highest quality. His concerts often required transporting massive sets and costumes across continents, a costly task, but one that created unforgettable experiences. For Rieu, the joy of his audience always came first, and he invested heavily to make each performance magical. He also embraced modern media early. His concerts were released on DVDs, streamed online, and aired on TV around the world. Fans could buy everything from coffee mugs to calendars, all carrying his elegant brand. But despite his wealth, Rieu lives modestly and gracefully. He and his wife Marjorie live in a stunning 15th-century castle in Maastricht. While luxurious, it reflects his love for beauty and history, rather than celebrity excess. He once said in a André Rieu's secret has never been about technique alone. It's about heart. Every note he plays carries a piece of his soul. Whether it's a waltz by Johann Strauss or a touching love theme from a movie, Rieu performs with emotion first, perfection second. He has often said that music is a language of feeling, not formality. That's why in his concerts he smiles, laughs, and sometimes even tears up with his audience. His violin becomes a voice that speaks directly to the human heart. He once explained in an interview that when he performs, he imagines that every person in the audience is a close friend. He plays for them, not at them. That connection is what makes his shows feel so special. Unlike many classical performers who maintain a professional distance, Rieu closes that gap. He looks people in the eyes, tells them stories, and makes them feel like part of his world. His performances often end with fans standing, clapping, and sometimes crying, not out of sadness, but because they feel something pure and beautiful. Rieu believes music has the power to heal. Over the years, fans have shared emotional stories. Couples who rekindled love after attending his concerts, elderly people who danced again for the first time in decades, and even patients who found comfort in his melodies during recovery. To Rieu, that's the true meaning of success, not fame or fortune, but touching lives in ways that words cannot. Behind the grand stages and glowing lights, André Rieu lives a surprisingly simple and private life. He's been married to Marjorie Rieu since 1975, and she's more than just his wife. She's his partner in every sense. Marjorie helps manage the business side of their musical empire, handles production details, and keeps André grounded. They raise two sons, Pierre and Marc, and unlike many celebrity families, the Rieus have always valued privacy over publicity. Their love story is one of quiet strength. While André often travels the world, he says Marjorie is the anchor that keeps him stable. She understands his passion for music because she shares it, even if she prefers to stay behind the scenes. André often calls her the reason for his success. In interviews, he describes her as calm, intelligent, and strong, qualities that balance his energetic, creative nature. Together, they've built not just a career, but a legacy of love, art, and loyalty. When not touring, André enjoys the peaceful life of Maastricht. He loves gardening, cycling, and spending time at home in his 15th-century castle. The castle itself reflects who he is, elegant, warm, and full of history. He's filled it with antique furniture, old paintings, and musical memories from his travels. Friends say that André's home is full of laughter and light, a place where music plays even during breakfast. Though he's famous worldwide, he has never lost touch with his roots or his humility. What sets André Rieu apart from other classical musicians is his philosophy about art and emotion. He believes that music should be about feeling, not formality. In his view, music doesn't belong in dusty concert halls for the elite. It belongs in the hearts of everyday people. He often says, if music doesn't move you, then it's just sound. That's why his concerts blend classical pieces with popular songs, movie themes, and folk melodies. He brings together Mozart and ABBA, Beethoven and Elvis, Strauss and the Beatles. And somehow it all feels natural. To him, good music is timeless and borderless. This mix of high art and popular culture made classical music approachable for millions who had never attended a symphony before. Rieu's orchestra also reflects his belief in joy. His musicians smile, laugh, and sometimes even dance while performing. This is rare in the classical world, where strictness and seriousness are often expected. But André insists that joy is essential to music. When his orchestra plays the Blue Danube, it's not just notes, it's life, flowing and dancing through the room. That energy spreads from the stage to the audience, creating a bond that feels magical. In interviews, Rieu often says his mission is to make people forget their problems, at least for a while. If someone leaves my concert happier than when they came, he says, then I've done my job. André Rieu's Johann Strauss Orchestra isn't just a group of musicians. It's a family. Many of them have been with him for decades, traveling around the world together. They rehearse, perform, and celebrate like one big musical household. André treats his orchestra members with kindness and respect, often describing them as his extended family. The atmosphere in his orchestra is warm and joyful. They share laughter during rehearsals, celebrate birthdays on tour, and support one another through challenges. This closeness shows on stage. Their chemistry and smiles are genuine. Unlike traditional orchestras, which sometimes maintain a strict hierarchy, Rieu's ensemble works with love and teamwork. Of course, leading such a large group isn't easy. The orchestra includes around 60 musicians, plus technical staff, costume designers, and support teams. Each tour requires enormous coordination: flights, hotels, meals, and transportation of instruments and stage sets. Rieu personally oversees many of these details. His attention to perfection is legendary. He ensures that every bow, every costume, and every light works in harmony. Yet despite the massive scale of his productions, he never loses the human touch. He greets his musicians, checks in with them, and keeps morale high. That leadership style has earned him lifelong loyalty and respect from his team. Among André Rieu's countless performances, None are more special than his annual summer concerts in Maastricht, his hometown. Held in the city's historic Vrijthof Square,